Hello, friends. A very warm welcome to all of you for the Hindu analysis of 24th November 2020. The first article which we are going to discuss is about a new idea of the central government which was attracting a lot of negativity from both the banking as well as the industry sector. So, that is move to allow corporates to set up banks to attract flake. इसका मतलब क्या है दोस्तों? मूव टू allow corporates to set up banks attracting flack. That means some criticism. The RBI working group's proposal to allow corporate houses to set up banks is a bombshell, and in this juncture it is important to stick to the tried and tested limits of involvement of business houses in the banking sector. ऐसा कौन कहा था? रघुराम राजन and Viral Acharya. Viral Acharya was ex-deputy governor. Because of a few issues in the RBI, and when government asked the surplus of RBI to be transferred into the government, then Mr. Viral Acharya has resigned because he did not like the idea and he opposed the idea of transferring the RBI's funds to the government. So, अभी यहाँ पे आरबीआई के वर्किंग ग्रुप ने ये प्रपोज किया था कि हम लोग कॉरपोरेट हाउसेस को भी नए बैंक शुरुआत करने के लिए परमिशन दे सकते हैं, लेकिन ये एक बॉम्बशेल, एक बॉम्ब की तरफ फोड़ सकती है, ऐसा इसको कहा था रघुराम राजन जी और मिस्टर विराल आचार्य ने. बिकॉज देर आर लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज इफ ए कॉर्पोरेट हाउस स्टार्ट्स ए बैंक. Because what is the basic purpose of bank? It accepts deposits and gives loans. Now, to whom does the bank give loan? Banks give loan only to the people. Basic the purpose of bank is to serve people. अगर कोई भी एक कॉर्पोरेट हाउस अपना खुद का बैंक खोल दिया था, let us take for example maybe Ambani or Adani, then Godrej, any such corporate company, maybe Indian corporate company खोल दिया था. Now, if Ambani's open a bank, Reliance Bank, then to whom will they give loan? Ad hoc Anil Dhirubhai Ambani Group, that is the Anil Ambani's group. If Ambani's open a bank, they want to give loan first only to their companies and later to the common people. Now, from where do they bring the money? From common people's deposits. So, this raises a concern. Similarly, Adani or Godrej or any corporate company for that matter, you can take. Any corporate company, if it sets up a bank, then what happens? Then immediately it will create a lot of uproar because there will be a lot of trust issues. And majority of the times, the corporates always act only for one thing, that is profit. So, in order to maximize their profit, they can play with the assets or the deposits which they have taken from the common people, क्योंकि उन लोगों को ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, लेकिन the people who have taken the trust and they have deposited the money, they will have a bigger problem with it. So that's why all these things have to be kept in mind when we are allowing private players into the banking sector. Now, that is, instead of going such a revolutionary ideas, you can stick to the tried and tested policies जो already हम लोग काफी सारे instances में इस्तेमाल कर चुके हैं. ऐसे policies को अगर हम लोग इसमें रखते हैं तो हमारे लिए वो और भी ज्यादा beneficial बनेगी. The history of connected lending is always been disastrous. How can the bank make good loans if it is owned by a borrower? Because all the corporate houses, they run on loans for their expansion. They take money from the equity or they take money from banks. So, if a borrower himself or herself or borrowers themselves, if they are running the bank, then that might be a very big reason for a disaster because it cannot give good loans. There is lot of possibility that the loans might be misused. Even an independent and committed regulator, here who is that independent and committed regulator? Your RBI, with all the information in the world, finds it difficult to be in every nook and corner of the financial system to stop poor lending. क्योंकि lending किसके हाथ में होगा? उस branch manager में के हाथ में होगा. So it will be in the hands of a branch manager to whom he has to give a loan. So this will not be in the hands of RBI. So RBI cannot do anything. The maximum it can do is keep certain restrictions, but it cannot see each and every rupee where is it going or to whom it is going. So that's why it is very important. Now, what are the recommendations of the internal working group? There is something called IWG or the internal working group in RBI, which makes all these recommendations. Now, what did this IWG do is our question. So the internal working group which has been set up by the RBI had last week made various recommendations, including a large corporate may be permitted to promote banks after necessary amendments to the BR Act. Banking Regulation Act is the act which is the basis for all banking sector operations in our country. आप लोग अपने GS3 में इसको पढ़ते हैं. So in your economy you might have read about the Banking Regulation Act of 1949 and its subsequent amendments, or it is also called as popularly BR Act, which is important for your GS3 in mains and economy in prelims. So that's why BR Act, once go through it. तो इस BR Act में कुछ amendments हम लोगों को लाना चाहिए ताकि सारे जितने भी लोग हैं corporate players like large corporates, they can be allowed to set up banks. It proposes to allow Indian corporate houses into banking, while the proposal is tempered with many caveats, which means there are lot of advantages and disadvantages, particularly disadvantages in it. The important question is why now? अभी क्यों? इस कोविड-19 की क्राइसिस के समय क्या जरूरत है इसको अब बाहर लाने की? So that is the biggest question raised by everyone. Then the IWG suggested significant amendments into BR Act of 1949, which is aimed at increasing the RBI's powers before allowing corporate houses into banking. यानी कि अगर कॉर्पोरेट हाउसेस को अलाउ करना चाहिए तो उसके पहले आरबीआई का पावर्स जो है वो और भी ज्यादा होना चाहिए. आरबीआई शुड बी गिवन इवन मोर पावर्स एंड दैट will be possible only with the amendments of Banking Regulation Act of 1949. If the sound regulation, ये एक सबसे बढ़िया पॉइंट है दोस्तों इस आर्टिकल में जो है, if sound regulation and supervision were only a matter of legislation, India would not have an NPA problem. That means even though you increase the powers of RBI, even then there will not be a guarantee that it will solve the problems. So that's why to solve the problem you need a better strategy rather than simply increasing the RBI powers. Just like the example I have given, RBI will only frame laws and make sure that the laws are implemented, but it cannot go to every nook and corner of the country seeing who is giving the money, who is taking the money, where is the credibility, or if a business house is in profits and they took loan for the expansion and suddenly that sector is in crisis, then naturally the company will be in the losses and the bank will be having some issues. Then who will be responsible for that money? That is also another problem. So all these issues arise and it is in a broader perspective we have to see this. It is hard not to see the proposed amendments are a subtle way for the IWG to undercut a recommendation it may have had a little power over. यानी कि ये जो amendments है, ये amendments ऐसा है कि थोड़ा ज्यादा powers बढ़ाने की बात कर रही है IWG. कुल मिला के many of the technical rationalizations proposed by the IWG are worth adopting, while to allow the Indian corporate houses into banking is the best left on the shelf. यानी कि कई सारे ऐसे रिकमेंडेशंस एंड रेशनलाइजेशंस है जो आईडब्ल्यूजी के द्वारा प्रपोज किया था. All this are really good, but the only idea to allow Indian corporate houses into banking should be kept aside. That is the author saying us now. Then we have learned that something that allows us to override all prior cautions on allowing industrial houses into banking, then we would argue no. Now what does this mean? क्या हमारे पूरे जितने भी प्रीवियस एक्सपीरियंसेस है उन सारे एक्सपीरियंसेस को लेके क्या हम लोग ये बात कह सकते हैं कि we are really ready to allow corporates into the banking? Are we really ready to allow industrial houses into the banking? Are we really ready to allow these business houses which run only for profits into the banking? Then the answer is a definite no. But to the contrary, that means to the opposite of what is being discussed by the IWG internal working group, it is even more important today to stick to the tried and tested limits of corporate involvement in banking. पहले से भी ज्यादा आज वो चीज काफी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? बिकॉज द एंटायर वर्ल्ड इज गोइंग थ्रू ए पोस्ट कोविड crisis. When there is a post COVID crisis, it is always important for us to take care of such things, and that's why it is not at all advisable to rely so much on the banking, the corporate sector for banking. Clear, friends? So that is what the article is proposing, and in many parts of the world, banks in India are also rarely allowed to fail. यानी कि कई सारे देशों में सिर्फ उनको छोड़ देते हैं. दे विल नॉट बी हैविंग सो मच command over the banks like in USA. In the year 2008, the global recession happened, and at times big banks of USA, like the very big banks of USA, they have collapsed. So when they have collapsed, it naturally had a lot of impact on the common people. So that's why an entire world went into a recession. So that's why there are a lot of concerns across the world regarding that. But in India, banks are rarely allowed to fail. Even in the recent S Bank, where SBI gave 50,000 crores for its restructuring, then Lakshmi Vilas Bank, it is also now under prompt corrective action framework, PCA framework, and also there are restrictions on Lakshmi Vilas Bank. All these things help in reviving the banking in India. So that's why in India, these banking sector players and their regulations are very, very important. That is the reason why the depositors in the scheduled banks know that their money is safe, and it really makes it easy for the banks to access a large volume of depositor funds, because we know our money is safe with the scheduled banks, the SCB, which we call them scheduled commercial banks. So it is very easy for the banks to access large amounts of money and for the depositors to be safe. So that is how it is played in India. But with the advent of corporate players, this safety is always a question. The next article which we are going to discuss is Bhutan border village on disputed land. So this is something which is very important when it comes to Bhutan, China and India. So we'll also check the maps and other important things related to this article. Chinese media claimed that a new border village which was built by China near Bhutan was on Chinese territory. But the released images of the village show its location on territory disputed by the two countries. यानी कि चाइनीज मीडिया ने ये क्लेम किया था जो नए बॉर्डर विलेज चाइना से द्वारा बनाई गई थी वो चाइनीज टेरिटरी में है, लेकिन इमेजेस ये हम लोगों को देखने को देता है कि the actually they are located in disputed territory. So that one images also we'll see in 1 minute. The village of Pangda, which was newly built, and the residents moved there only in September. यानी कि सितंबर के पहले वहां पे कुछ विलेज ही नहीं था, लेकिन सडनली चीन ने एक नए विलेज जिसका नाम है पंगडा बना दिया था और वहां पे लोगों को भी शिफ्ट किया था. An image released by a newspaper placed the village in disputed territory, a couple of kilometers inside what Bhutan sees as its territory. यानी कि एक न्यूज़पेपर में जो इमेजेस पब्लिश हुई है वो सारे इमेजेस जो है वो डिस्प्यूटेड टेरिटरी में है. They were completely in a disputed territory and which is almost 2 kilometers inside what Bhutan sees as its territory. यानी कि जो एरिया भूटान अपने टेरिटरी के रूप में देखती है उस एरिया में अब क्या है, 2 किलोमीटर अंदर तक ये जो सिटी है वो बनाया गया था. लेकिन द भूटान ऑफिशियल्स denied the village was on their territory. Bhutan did not accept that China came and built a village in its territory. And the Bhutan's ambassador in India told that there is no Chinese village inside Bhutan. Now, even if it has really happened, then why is Bhutan claiming that there is no such thing happened? अगर कोई भी दूसरे कंट्री हमारे देश में आके एक विलेज बना रही है, इसका मतलब दैट इज ए वेरी बिग infringement of our sovereignty. So it is completely against the sovereignty and territorial integrity of any nation. So that is literally can be seen as attack of foreign nation. And if you did not react till people started living in a town or village which was built by a foreign country which is having territorial dispute with you people, then that shows lot of flaws. So that's why Bhutan is not accepting this. According to the open records, the authorities of Yadang Yadang County of Southwest China's Tibet Autonomous Region. Tibet is an autonomous region within China. So, in the Tibet Autonomous Region, there are 27 households and 124 people who voluntarily moved from Changdui village of Duina, which is in Yadong County, to the Panga village in the month of September. यानी कि जितने भी ओपन रिकॉर्ड्स अवेलेबल है उसमें से हम लोगों को साफ साफ ये चीज पता चल रहा है कि the people who are in the Duina prefecture, that means like our block or taluk, and the village is Shandui. From the Shandui village, 27 families of 124 households, sorry, 124 people. So more than 100 people they have migrated from one place to another place. That too, which is in a disputed territory. That shows that how strategically China has started capturing these areas. Then Chinese media reported that there were 27 households and the village was covered by asphalt road. It has a public square, a village community committee, health room, police room, kindergarten, supermarket and a plastic runway. So literally this village has almost all the amenities which are required for people to stay. That itself shows the importance and the development activity that has been undertaken by the China in that village. China in past has sought to bolster its territorial crimes in disputed areas by building civilian settlements there. The same thing has also happened on the disputed South China Sea islands. There are many islands in the South China Sea which were actually disputed between the countries. Then what China did? China quickly built villages and made civil settlements. Yani ki China has brought its people to stay there. So if someone from any external country, any international arena comes there and asks the people, to which country do you belong? When the people say it is China, naturally it will be very very easier for China to occupy those areas. Yes or no? So that is the methodology which is actually used by China in all the contexts. यहाँ पे भी चाइना ने वही किया था. China has started a village, it moved people, it provided all the amenities to the people, and now it is claiming it to be its own territory. So, according to the Chinese maps, the village is within China's territory, but the China's border extends further south beyond where India and Bhutan से the border runs. यानी कि आप ऐसा मान के चलिए, let us say it is something like this. So this is Bhutan, this is Nepal, this is Sikkim, and this entire part is China. Now China, what it is doing? It is building this city here, and it is saying that our new border is something like this. अब हमारा border जो है वो ऐसा है. So literally this area which I am completely highlighting in black, that is now occupied by China. So that is the strategy how China is behaving in this context. In the area east of India, Bhutan, China tri-junction on the Doklam Plateau, which was a site of 72-day standoff in 2017, which was triggered by the China's road building. So 2017 में 72 डेज तक एक सबसे बड़ा इश्यू हुआ था डोकलाम प्लेट्यू, जिसको सब लोग डोकलाम इश्यू के नाम से जानते हैं. And this Doklam issue at that particular point of time was even part of your exam. So when China started to build a road in the Doklam Plateau, India quickly stopped the road, which was actually built a few hundred meters east of India's border, and saying China had entered Bhutanese territory and unilaterally pushing the tri-junction further south. Yani ki China is pushing the border south without the consent of India and Bhutan. Saying so, India has stopped the road activity in Doklam Plateau, and there was almost 72 days standoff. After that, both the parties, India and China, discussed a lot, and they have finally settled this. So it is a repeated thing with China. So that's why we have to be always on high alert, because China can start construction activity overnight, and Chinese technology, the improvement of their technology will help them construct a road as quickly as possible, that even before our monitoring agencies or our border security forces like ITBP reach there, already the road will be half or even completely constructed. So that's why we should be always on high alert. Now see the area. So this is the location of the village. What we are saying as border is this line. So this is the line. It is 2 kilometers inside. But China is claiming that it is part of its own country. China is claiming border something like this. So this entire area, whichever is highlighted around the red border now, this entire area will be now occupied by China. That is a biggest cause of concern for India. So this map shows the location of Pangda, the new border village. China said it is built in China. The area is east of the tri-junction. So you can see this point, my dear friends. If you properly see, this is the area which is the tri-junction point. This entire area is the tri-junction point. So as we are zooming it, it is might be a small area, but this entire area is basically a tri-junction point between India, China, and Bhutan. You can very clearly see here. This entire area is, you can say, as tri-junction point. So when this tri-junction point is there, if something happens, if China comes to almost to the borders till here, what happens? It will be a threat to Sikkim, it will be threat to our own Siliguri corridor. So you might be knowing that the Siliguri corridor, or the Chicken Neck corridor, to be more precise, this particular point, which is only 72 km wide. So this small 72 km wide corridor connects the northeast India with the Indian mainland. If anything happens to that small corridor, that will be a very, very big trouble for India. So that's why we should be always cautious. Then, so this is from a Chinese media. The red dotted line which you are seeing is their territory watch they are claiming, or what they are claiming. This red part which now I am highlighting, it is the disputed territory, and this is the area which China wants to annex, but India and Bhutan are saying that this is part of Bhutan. So that is the issue which is involved in this border. Next article is about the Oxford University corona vaccine. So, among the 54 vaccine candidates undergoing clinical trials, 13 are currently in phase 3, while 6 have already got approved for limited use from various nations like Pfizer, Moderna, Sputnik 5. There are only 6 vaccines till now which were available for commercial use. So now the pharmaceutical major AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca is one of the biggest players, and it has announced that its vaccine, which was being developed with Oxford University, has an average efficacy of 70% in its interim data. And November 9, Pfizer announced that its vaccine is 90% effective, and US based company Moderna announced that a preliminary analysis has indicated their vaccine is 95% effective. So now we have to see, coming more and more players might help in reduce the prices, because Moderna's vaccine is very much costly. Pfizer's vaccine requires minus 70 degrees temperature for storage. So either way, it is very much burden on common people and also on the governments which want these vaccines to be available at a lower prices so that they can distribute it to all the people of their country at a very nominal or limited cost. So that is about the vaccine and its status. Next article is an editorial about the banking health and केक आउट डायनामिक्स. इस पूरे आर्टिकल में से हम लोगों को सिर्फ कुछ डेफिनेशंस जानना चाहिए. एम आई क्लियर? सो इस डेफिनेशंस जो है वो आपसे डायरेक्टली पूछे जाते हैं एग्जामिनेशन में. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी ओनली हैव टू फोकस on the definitions and nothing else. So the price to book value ratio, the entire article is about this K cow and the price to book value ratio. So every stock has a book value, a face value, and a market value. Book value is less generally when compared to the market value if the shares are doing good, otherwise it may also be same. If both are same, that means the share is not trending or trading at a good price. So now price to book value is nothing but market value divided by book value. So market value divided by book value, that is nothing but your P by BV ratio. It is also called as P by BV ratio. So this ratio gives about the key attributes that the market values most, like the adequacy of current capital. If the current capital is enough, then the ratio will be higher, and also runway available to the entity for profitable growth. यानी कि इससे प्रॉफिट कैसे आएंगे, उन सारे चीजों के बारे में ये जो है वो हम लोगों को इंफॉर्मेशन देती है. So if the P by B value is above 1, it indicates that the market believes the company can grow and generate return on equity above the hurdle rate that investors expect. That means if the P by B value of any company is more than 1, then it is high probability that the company is running in very good condition and there are anticipation of profits, and it might end up giving the investors more money than what they are expecting. The faster it can grow or the greater the spread of return on equity, that is ROE, above the hurdle rate, the greater the P by B multiple, which will be above 1. So the better the company is performing, the better the company is giving the results, the better its value of P by B. If the P by BV value is below 1, it indicates that the market either does not believe the bank has recognized all its bad loans, or the business model which is being employed is not delivering returns above the hurdle rate. यानी कि सिंपली हम लोग ऐसे इसको बोल सकते हैं कि इट इज बिलो एक्सपेक्टेशंस, and the lower P by B ratio can also mean that the stock is undervalued, यानी कि आप लोग losses में आ गए हो. So it is something that there is fundamentally something is going wrong with the company. उस कंपनी में कुछ बहुत ज्यादा गड़बड़ हो रही है, बहुत ज्यादा उल्टी सीधी हो रही है. So this may be because bank does not have good deposit franchise, or bad discipline, or a broken lending model. So there might be multiple reasons for this. One is no good deposit franchise. Other one is a bad cost discipline. That means there is no proper expenditure being done by the bank, and a broken lending model. That is, there are a lot of NPS as well as stressed assets which act as a big problem for the banks. So the banks had to come out of these things. Now, what is the K curve? K curve depicts the inequality which exists between financial entities in the terms of their attributes that determine their future growth and profitability. तो simply K curve जो है वो इस inequality जो उस कंपनी का फ्यूचर ग्रोथ और प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी है उसमें, और जो रियलिटी की चीजें हैं उन दोनों के बीच में रिलेशन जो है उसको हाईलाइट करती है. So the widening arms of K would imply that inequality is increasing. आप ऐसा मान के चलिए दोनों ऐसा है, so everything is going perfectly all right. If there is a widening gap like this for both the entities of K, then it is showing that there is a big problem. And if this is reducing again, then it is going in a favorable direction. ये जो है वो K कर्व हम लोगों को काफी सारे इंफॉर्मेशन देती है, and it is recommended by the editorial author that we monitor our banking sector health using the P by BV ratio and also the K curve. Clear? The next article, that is about the recent developments in our country regarding the interfaith love and interfaith marriages. In the Hadia case, the Supreme Court said the judgment is more important. Right to marry a person of one's choice. आप जिसको चाहते हो उसको शादी कर सकते हो, सब्जेक्ट टू कंडीशन बोथ ऑफ यू एग्री. इट्स नॉट लाइक मुझे कतरीना कैफ पसंद है एंड आई विल मैरी कतरीना कैफ. If she also agrees to marry you, then it is okay, and Salman Khan cannot say anything against you because you both agree. But if you want to marry Katrina Kaif and Katrina Kaif doesn't want to marry you, then you cannot force her to marry. That is also part of this article. Here the Supreme Court says that the right to marry a person of one's choice, यानी कि आप जिसको पसंद करते हो उसको आप शादी कर सकते हो, and it is integral to Article 21. Article 21 emphasizes on the right to life and personal liberty. So if two majors agree to get married, then they can marry subject to condition the both of them are above the prescribed minimum age limit for marriage. So the choice of a partner, whether within or outside the marriage. That means if you want to have a healthy relationship, like you have a live-in relationship, or you have you are in love with someone, though all these things other than marriage also lie within the exclusive domain of each individual. So it is something which is pertain to the individual but not the family or the society or the village in which they are residing. It is only pertain to those two people irrespective of any differences. Intimacies of marriage lie within a core zone of privacy which is invoidable. यानी कि ये जो भी मैरिज के बारे में चीजें हैं वो एक प्राइवेसी जोन में होते हैं. एंड द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज डिक्लेयर्ड दैट a person's choice to choose a religion and marry is an intrinsic part of the meaningful existence of this religion. So, if someone is choosing a person of maybe their own religion or other religion, it is purely their matter of choice, but not something which is a legal binding. So, when the courts are so clear about the institution of marriage, then why is there a problem? Why the political people are making so much uproar about this problem? And let us continue with the court's judgment. Neither the state nor the patriarchal supremacy can interfere in her decision, which means no one is empowered or no one can object any decision taken by any individual. Allahabad High Court has said the right to live with a person of one's choice is intrinsic to the right of life and personal liberty, irrespective of the religion. Irrespective of the religion, every person has the right to life and personal liberty, and it is very much intrinsic to them. So, you can live, you can marry persons of your own choice, you can happily live with all the guarantees given by the Constitution of India. The courts and constitutional courts in particular are enjoined to uphold the right to life and liberty of an individual, which is guaranteed under the Article 21, that is राइट टू लाइफ एंड पर्सनल लिबर्टी इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया. सारे कोर्ट्स बार बार यही चीज को रीइटरेट किया, बार बार वही कहा था कि आर्टिकल 21 इज समथिंग विच ऑलवेज होल्ड्स फर्म द राइट टू लिव with a person of his or her choice, irrespective of the religion professed by them, is intrinsic. That means it is inbuilt to the right of life and personal liberty. यानी कि आप जो मर्जी चाहे उसके साथ आप रह सकते हैं, उससे शादी कर सकते हैं, सब्जेक्ट टू कंडीशन बोथ ऑफ यू एग्री विथ इट. Interference in a personal relationship could constitute a serious encroachment into the right of freedom of the choice of two individuals. अगर हम लोग इस चीज को आगे लेके किसी दो लोगों के बीच के पर्सनल रिलेशनशिप पे हम लोग कुछ बात कर रहे हैं या हम लोग उस पे कुछ चीजें कर रहे हैं, देन इट इज ए सीरियस एनक्रोचमेंट इनटू द राइट ऑफ फ्रीडम ऑफ चॉइस ऑफ टू इंडिविजुअल्स. दोनों लोगों के बीच में जो राइट ऑफ फ्रीडम है उसको हम लोग काफी ज्यादा इन्फ्रिंज कर रहे हैं. एंड ऑन कास्ट बेस्ड मैरिजेस, इन द केस ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट, इन there is a case called Lalita Singh versus the state of UP in 2006. It has ordered a stern action, that means a very strict action, to all those threatening or carrying out threats against couples. जितने भी, क्योंकि कई सारे सोसाइटीज में ऐसा होता है कि अगर आपके कास्ट का कोई भी एक व्यक्ति दूसरे कास्ट के कोई भी एक व्यक्ति से शादी की, देन इट विल बी ए इश्यू एंड देयर विल बी अ लाइफ थ्रेट फॉर द न्यू कपल. Similarly with religion, with class, so all the things they come into place when two people want to get married and stay their life together. The Supreme Court reiterated the fact that intercaste marriages are not banned as per Hindu Marriage Act, and these are in the national interest. It is illegal to stop them in any way. Hindu Marriage Act के दौरान intercaste marriages are valid and it is illegal if you stop them. The SC in Kap Panchayats. This is something which is once very much important. It used to make headlines every now and then. The Kap Panchayats, they used to declare death penalty to people who did intercaste marriages. No third party has the right to interfere between two consenting adults. मैं पहले से ही यही बात बोल रहा हूं, टू कंसेंटिंग अडल्ट. अगर दो लोग एक दूसरे के सहमत से शादी कर रहे हैं, then no one in this country has any power to stop them or object to that marriage if both of them are adults and both of them agree for that marriage. When two people get into a wedlock, no one should interfere, neither the parents, society, nor the cop, nor panchayat, no one at all. No one at all is what said by the courts. That means no one should involve in the marriage between two people. सो दैट इज अबाउट दिस आर्टिकल. तो इस आर्टिकल में हम लोगों को सिर्फ एक ही चीज सबसे ज्यादा जानने को मिली, दैट इज आर्टिकल 21 एंड various Supreme Court judgments which continuously said that interfaith marriages are legal, are valid, and no one has the right to interfere in their own personal authority. The next article is about Abhayam app. The Andhra Pradesh has launched an app called Abhayam. And what is this app? It helps women and children while they are traveling in taxis or auto rickshaws to raise an alarm in case of emergency. So these auto rickshaws will be equipped with IoT enabled GPS devices and they will be rolled out in the Vishakhapatnam city. So simply a IoT based device will be there in front of your seat in every auto rickshaw and taxi. There will be something called panic button. अगर आप लोग जरूरत पड़े तो इस पैनिक बटन को दबाने के बाद वो व्हीकल जो है वो स्टॉप हो जाएगा. देन आफ्टर दिस इट विल आल्सो सेंड एन अलर्ट टू पुलिस. पुलिस को एक अलर्ट भी मिलती है कि देयर इज सम प्रॉब्लम विद दिस vehicle and there will be a GPS inbuilt, so that will be naturally sending a message to the police and the police can come quickly before something really bad happens. And Andhra Pradesh is also the first state to bring out legislation, that is the Disha bill towards security of women. Women security के लिए दिशा बिल एक लेजिस्लेशन के रूप में सबसे पहली स्टेट जो लाई थी वो थी आंध्र प्रदेश. देन single window approval for FDI by March. A new unified single window clearance system. Single window clearance system for all the foreign direct investments will be in place by March 2021. ये single window clearance system क्या होती है दोस्तों? What do you mean by this single window clearance system? A single window clearance system means your application, all the permissions required for your application will be only through a one portal. That means you have applied, all the concerned ministries will be notified with your application. They will give you approval and that approval will be again reflected in your portal. That means you just apply once and you will get all the approvals to the place where you have applied. So that will be a convenience for all the foreign investors to come and invest in India. इसलिए ये एक काफी महत्वपूर्ण चीज है FDIs को अट्रैक्ट करने में. The access to regulators, policy makers and facilitators are all available at one point digitally. They would not only make approvals transparent but also expeditious. यानी कि पहले क्या होती थी, हम जो भी फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स आते हैं उन लोगों को बहुत सारे दिक्कतें होती थी. There used to be lot of troubles for them to invest to spend the money to get permissions for their investments and all the other things. There used to be a lot of corruption. Now, with this single window system, there will be no direct contact between the administration and the investor. So that's why it will be more and more transparent and also expeditious. That means it will reduce a lot of effort. The single window clearance system which is being developed will be very effective, and it can enable the potential investors to interact with ministries whose approvals are required at the center as well as states. This is very important क्योंकि many times ऐसा होता है कि states approval नहीं देते हैं, central government approval देती है, state governments approval देते हैं तो central government नहीं देती है. All these things continue, so that's why in this single window it will be a platform for everyone, so that there will be directly either an approval or a rejection. The finance minister also stressed that the center would continue the movement of reforms which were undertaken in the pandemic. So ये जो सिंगल विंडो सिस्टम की बात किया जा रहा है, this was by the finance minister, and the finance minister also said that whatever reforms we have started during this pandemic, this will be continued even further. The center's industrial information system for the potential investors includes the details of land availability in 14 states. So IIS सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इंडस्ट्रियल इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम, जिसमें पूरे 14 स्टेट्स के जो लैंड अवेलेबिलिटी फॉर इंडस्ट्रीज इज क्लियरली मेंशन्ड, एंड दैट विल आल्सो हेल्प द इन्वेस्टर्स टू कम एंड invest in our country. So these are few important articles of 24th of November 2020. See you in the next class. Thank you.